There's a tidy garden by a cozy house where everything grew in neat rows and proper lines. At the edge of the garden path, one flat stone sits just slightly higher than the others. Underneath it, there's a hidden hollow, cool in summer, warm in spring, dry even after rain. The entrance is a narrow gap between roots and soil, barely visible unless you're looking for it. In that hidden hollow, there lived a small gray cat named Brindle. Brindle was a careful cat. He liked straight paths, evenly spaced cabbages, and knowing exactly where things were supposed to be. Every morning, he followed the same route along the cabbage patch, around the watering can, to the edge of the great big tangled hedge, and back home again. No surprises, that was the point. The great big tangled hedge was not tidy. It leaned and twisted and grew however it pleased. Leaves poked out at odd angles. Branches crossed like they were whispering secrets. Brindle did not like the hedge. He respected it from a distance. But one breezy afternoon, while chasing a particularly determined dandelion seed, something unusual happened. The seed slipped into the hedge, and Brindle, without thinking, slipped in after it. He expected scratches, twigs, and a quick turnaround. Instead, he tumbled forward and landed on soft, springy ground. Nothing was where it was supposed to be, and yet everything felt exactly where it belonged. The grass wasn't trimmed, it waved. The trees weren't lined up, they wandered. The air smelled different, wilder, sweeter somehow.
New to these parts?
The voice came from above. Brindle looked up and saw a small figure perched on a low branch. It looked a bit like a person, if a person had been made from leaves, bark, and a pinch of laughter. The ears were long and pointed, and the feet didn't seem very interested in staying still.
You came through the hedge. Not many do. Most just stare at it very seriously.
I'm Brindle. I live on the other side of the hedge,
he said, because that felt like the correct first step.
I'm Thimblefern.
Nice to meet you, Brindle.
Thimblefern began to run in a sort of cheerful zigzag. Brindle followed, trying not to look too confused.
Things grow how they like here. Paths appear if you need them, disappear if you don't.
That seems inconvenient.
It's very efficient, just not in the way you're used to.
A breeze rustled through, and for a moment, it sounded almost like laughter. Brindle tried to memorize the way back, but he was surrounded by the forest. All he saw was grass and trees. After a while, Brindle stopped.
I should go home. I always go home before the shadows stretch too long.
Brindle turned and turned again, and once more, just to be certain.
But I don't know where the hedge is.
Brindle admitted.
Ah, that happens.
Said Thimblefern, as if this were a very familiar sort of moment.
I didn't mean to get lost.
You meant to follow something. That's different.
Brindle's whiskers twitched. His careful plans had no place here. Thimblefern crouched and tapped the ground lightly.
Don't look for the hedge. Think about where you want to be.
My garden, the trees in rows, the cabbages, the watering can on the border that's always there.
Okay, that's good. Now walk.
Brindle hesitated, then he took a step. Nothing remarkable happened. He took another. The air shifted just a little, and there it was.
Bye, Thimblefern, bye.
A narrow opening in the hedge, leaves parted just enough to let him through. Brindle stepped back into his tidy garden. Everything was exactly as he had left it. He turned to look at the hedge. It stood there, thick and tangled, as if it had never made room for anything at all. The next morning, Brindle followed his usual route: stone border, cabbage patch, watering can. But when he reached the far end of the garden, he paused. The hedge rustled softly. Brindle tilted his head. He realized it was perfectly fine to know exactly where you were going. And sometimes it was even better not to.